I have been in the UK for 4 years and I am not ashamed to say that I have failed. My channel is about raw, authentic and just realistic content, and we don't come here to act like we're making it. We come here to feel like a community, so that people don't feel alone, so that people don't feel crazy, so that people don't feel behind. And what I'm going to share in this video is very vulnerable, and it's actually what I'm going through at the moment. And if you are going through this, first and foremost, before we even get into the video, is just saying, listen, you're not alone. Right? Even though I've not had people come to me personally and say to me, listen, I feel the same way. I feel like I've been in Canada for so long and I haven't made it or whatever. I know that there's people out there like me. I know that even though people try to act like we're okay, when we get on the phone calls to our people back home, we try to act like we're okay. When we talk to each other, we try to act like we're making it. We've done it. We've done this little thing and it's enough. No, we need to be entirely honest with each other and just say, listen, I'm struggling. This is how I feel. And currently, I feel like I failed. And the reason why I feel like I failed is the unmet expectations. And the reason why I feel like I failed is the unmet expectations. When I left Zimbabwe, I had an idea of what my life was supposed to look like. I didn't even cry at the airport because I was that excited to start my life in London or in the UK and just be the person that's abroad, right? So I expected to, off the bat, I had a plan of exactly how I'm going to do it. I was going to use Meetup to meet my friends and make my community. I was going to meet the man of my dreams through church, and he was going to be this God-worshipping man who worships me and God at the same time. I was going to have my business and I was going to do real estate. I was going to build a house for my parents and possibly gift them cars and all of this. And then I walked into the country and immediately when I was at Heathrow, the air was different and I hit the ground running. Issue number one, up till this day, I have not yet made my community. Right, up to this day, I am still struggling with loneliness. I've not made the really close friends that I thought I would have made. Surely you would think by 4 years now I should have, UK should be like home. No, it's not. Okay, so when I walked into the country, I realized that I used the platforms that were there. There was Bumble, BFF, there was Meetup, and sometimes I would go to meet someone and it just wouldn't blossom into a friendship, or I would start talking to somebody, trying to be friends with that person, and then the friendship remains at sort of a surface level and it just wouldn't be what I needed it to be. And then because I ended up moving from the city where I was, when I was starting to actually make friends a little bit, just a little bit, I had to then move, because that's another thing about being on a sponsorship. You can't really be settled in one location. If you're on a visa, you may need to move any day, anytime. So when I was about to sort of get there, I had to move, and you just don't feel settled and you don't feel like you can fully build your community. And being an introvert did not help. The introversion did not help me at all, because I'm the type of person who will stay indoors for 4 days if you let me. I'll stay in there for a week if you let me. Now, that does not work in the UK. The UK was not allowing myself to be me. In Zim, I could be introverted and still have friends. But this one is already a closed community by itself. And then if you add introversion and you not knowing anyone in the country, it makes things a tad bit harder. So really, I would have thought that by 4 years I would have a booming social community, and that's just not the case for me. I also realized that 4 years later, my health is not the best. I came here thinking, right, I'm going to a first world country, and then that means that if I ever get sick, then I'm going to get this first class treatment and all of this. But actually coming here has caused me health issues. I now have back pain that is absolutely horrible for my age. I have back pain that it worries me, because I look at my situation and how I feel with my back, and I'm definitely going to have to get some sort of surgery in this lifetime. I look at my mental health and I think I am going to need, I'm going to need some therapy. I'm going to need some PTSD pills of some sort. So the thing that I came here for was better health, but I'm finding that, listen, there's not sun here. There's no sun in that. I did not know how much the sun was important to me as an African child born in just heat. And then I come here and then there's no sun, and that's affecting me. And so those health issues where I thought I was excelling I thought I was getting ahead by coming to a country with a better health system, I have in fact caused myself some health problems. I also don't feel really settled. I don't feel settled still, because if you had told me at that airport that 4 years from now you will still be trying to figure it out, I think I would have laughed in your face. I would have been like, 4 years is a long time for someone to be figuring it out, isn't it? But that's the reality, is that I'm still not yet settled. I'm still not yet cruising like I thought I would. You think that if I've been there for this amount of time, I would have found my people, I would have found my footing, I would have found my confidence and my voice and my direction. But no, for some people, they get here, they have to change careers. So the identity that they had, if you were a lawyer, if you were a bank manager back home, you come back and now you're in an industry where you are packing boxes, where you are now at the bottom of the food chain, and your identity is sort of shaken and you sort of don't even recognize yourself really. And so there's also the issue of the fact that you are dependent on your visa. There is constant fear of you losing your visa. There's you can't even make permanent decisions because you are in a visa. If anything happens that is threatening your visa, if you've done a mistake at work, then you barely sleep. And you that makes you feel unsettled, because if ever anything happens, and the system here is so fragile, any small thing and you could find yourself deported. And so you don't feel fully settled, and you're thinking, I've been here for 4 years and still this is not yet home. I'm scared to buy a really big piece. I don't even have that much furniture. I don't have a lot of things, because every time that I think about buying something that's really big, I think to myself, if ever I need to move, if ever I need to go back to Zim, then I'm going to need to be able to carry this. So you're in a situation where you're afraid to buy your own fridge, you're afraid to buy your own washing machine or whatever you need to buy, and you sort of just, I have survived by moving into places where the furniture is provided, because I cannot wrap my head around trying to buy my own furniture, because I'm just like, anytime I may need to move, and with the threats that the government is giving us every 5 seconds, I may need to go back to Zim, and you are never fully settled. The cultural struggle. Again, you would think after 4 years in the UK, I would be a master of the UK culture, and you sort of think, so what? So what? But the so what is in everything. It's in the way that you raise your kids. It's in the way that you conduct yourself at work. It's in the way that you conduct yourself in the bus. So, you've come into a system at age 29. You've come into a system at age 40. You're set in your ways. The way that you speak can be interpreted in a wrong way. Like, there is a person that I live with who's very loud, but me, because I'm African, I know that's how they are. So if they're on the phone, they're talking really loud and they're just enjoying themselves. But if that person ever got into a conversation with someone where they were disagreeing, because they're very loud, they will find themselves in a lot of trouble. The police could be called just because of how loud they are. But that's just how they talk. If you're doing that in Africa, it's not recorded as a threat. But here, it could be recorded as a threat. You could be labeled as aggressive. You could be in jail. You could be in jail, and that's not even a joke, because you have not learned the system. Okay, these people have been born here. They've maybe had jobs before. They start work really early, by the way. By 15, they have a job already. They know what the workplace politics looks like. You have arrived at age 35 and you're trying to figure out work politics now at age 35. Now you've got a lot to lose. Maybe you've got 2 children and you're trying to figure out the work politics, right? So before you know it, maybe you've lost the job before you figure it out, and you've got so much at stake. But you are learning this quite late, and don't think that if somebody who you could be at the same level with somebody who was born here, because you are trying to adapt and it's 4 years later and you think, oh, surely 4 years later. No, because this person was born and bred and they've been here 35 years. You and that person are just not on the same level even after 4 years. Another thing that is actually bothering me is the comparison that I'm starting to feel. When I was in Zimbabwe, I was always fantasizing about moving abroad. Now I'm abroad, I'm always fantasizing about moving to Zimbabwe, because sometimes you get home, you're there for a month, and you see that people, they're happier, they seem at peace, they seem like, yeah, they're struggling because people back home complain and stuff like that, but you sort of see the peace in it, right? So you start to compare yourself and you start to feel like, surely this might not be the answer. I may have chosen the wrong path, because you're thinking to yourself, okay, fine, maybe I got a little bit more money, maybe just a little bit, but I don't have my peace of mind, I don't have my community, I don't have my village, I'm always by myself, and I'm not fully supported. If I were to ever fall sick, God forbid, something happens to me, there's no one who's going to take care of me, and you start to compare yourself with the people that you left home. You start to feel like they're better than you, and the weird thing is that they think you're better than them. That is the weird thing, is that people back home think that people who are abroad are doing really well and they're making it in life, but you are there just thinking like, wouldn't it be better? Like, would I be better if I was making less money but happier, but in a loud, vibrant culture with my people, with my mom, seeing my parents get old, seeing my sisters reach certain milestones? Would I be better that way? So you sort of find yourself in this comparison thing, and the thing about comparison is that you start to feel unhappy. you start to feel unhappy with your own life, and you look around and it stops making sense. It stops making sense, this life that you've built for yourself. But then we go to the next point. You start to feel stuck. You start to feel stuck because you have been in this place for such a long time. Because listen, you've been here for 4 years. Things have changed back home. I went back home and some shops were no longer there. There was a new mall. And that's just buildings. People have changed. The environment have changed. Your friends have changed. Your family have changed. So you are now scared to go back home because people are telling you how hard it is, and you don't know. You don't really know because people are just telling you. You don't even know if you're going to make it. You don't know if you're going to survive that environment. As for me, I didn't even live adulthood in Zimbabwe that much. I was in Zim for like 1 year before I moved here. I don't even know what it's like to be an adult in Zim. So people tell you all these horror stories, and you want to go back home, but you're terrified. You are terrified, and people tell you, no, you can come back home, but then you would need to have some sort of bridge and some sort of plan a business for you to go back home, and you think, okay, fine, I'll do a business. But now you've lost touch, you have lost connections, you've lost your sense of what home really looks like. You don't even remember what home was like in terms of business, in terms of the things that really make sense to make money in. So you're scared to start that business. You're scared to throw your money. And some people do. Some people do get the bravery to buy a little car and use it for in-drive at home. And then some people lose a lot of money. You hear the stories of people that lose a lot of money. So now you are scared to invest back home because of the stories that you're hearing. And it's a horrible, horrible cycle that you are just stuck in. So at the end of the day, I do feel like I'm stuck here. And the fact that I am still on a visa, I can't travel back home to test the waters. I can't travel back home to sort of work there and live there and see if I can make it. I can't, because I cannot be out of the country for a certain amount of time. So you sort of look at this cage that you've built yourself, and you're like, my God, I've built myself a beautiful decorated cage. It's golden. It looks very nice and expensive, but it's still a cage. And so after 4 years, there is a sense of sadness in thinking, wait, this is not yet home. I've been here 4 years and it's not yet home. I've left over there and it's becoming less and less home. I'm losing touch. So where is my home? Your home is sort of becomes in between, in the air, in the aeroplane. Maybe that's your home because you're not fully home here, you're not fully home there. Life is moving on without you there, and you're trying to find your footing here like a 2-year-old who's just been thrown into the workplace and thrown into the real life and taxes and convictions and all of this. So that is how I feel, and I would love to hear what other people feel in their own experiences in the comment section, because one thing that I love about the truth is that we start to feel less and less alone, and we start to feel less and less crazy, because the idea of Instagram and social media and Facebook, of people posting the highlights of their life, is killing us. It's killing us because we start to feel like we are out of the ordinary, we are the bottom of the barrel. But that's not the case. The case is, if we talked openly about our struggles and realize that there's other people like us, there's other people are struggling too. This person is struggling with this person is struggling with this, then we're likely to have less suicide and less depression. And that is the main reason why I started this channel, is for people to not feel like this is unique to me. I'm the failure. I'm the one who's extremely, extremely behind. Now, if that is your speed and the type of content that you would like to see more of, please do like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it, and hit the notification bell and become my friend.